So, good morning, ma'am. So, here are the three literary approaches that I choose. So, first, I have here socio-political approach. So, Scarlet Letters by Nathaniel Hawthorne reflects the author's conservative views and perpetuates certain societal norms and prejudice of its time. One of the central criticism lies in the representation of woman. While Hester Prynne is initially presented as a defiant and strong female character who challenged the oppressive Puritan society, her eventual submission to societal expectations undermines the potential for a more progressive portrayal of female agency. The narrative seems to suggest that a woman's worth is defined by her adherence to societal norms and her acceptance of punishment for her transgressions. So, additionally, the novel reinforces gender roles and patriarchy through the character of Roger Chillingworth, Hester's strength husband. Chillingworth is portrayed as the embodiment of evil and revenge, using his intellect to manipulate and harm those around him. The vilification of an intellectual, introspective male character implies a distrust of intellectualism and paints a narrow picture of masculinity. Moreover, the novel's portrayal of Native Americans can be seen as problematic. The character of Mr. Hibbins, a witch-like figure associated with Native Americans, perpetuates stereotypes and prejudice prevalent during Hawthorne's time. This depiction reinforces the colonialist narrative that demonizes indigenous cultures and positions them as threatening and mystical others. So next we have historical approach. So the novel was published in 1850, more than 2 centuries after the events. It depicts Hawthorne's portrayal of Puritan society is heavily influenced by his own romanticized version of the past rather than an accurate historical representation. So, furthermore, Hawthorne's narrative subscribes to the prevailing moral and religious values of his time. The Puritans are presented as fanatical and rigid, and while his turn sin and subsequent redemption align with the prevalent Christian notions of guilt, punishment, and forgiveness. So, by reinforcing these religious and moral conventions, Hawthorne fails to challenge or subvert the dominant ideologies of this era. So last we have the literary approach. So Scarlet Letters by Nathaniel Hawthorne is a classical novel set in the 17th century, exploring themes of sin, guilt, and societal judgment. So while it is undeniably a significant work in American literature, there are certain aspects that can be critiqued. Firstly, the novel's pacing can be quite slow and the narrative often feels weighed down by excessive description and introspection. Hawthorne's writing style, characterized by long, convoluted sentences and frequent digressions, can make the reading experience cumbersome and challenging to follow. This can deter some readers from fully engaging with the story and its character. So secondly, the characters in Scarlet Letters can be seen as somewhat one-dimensional. So the protagonist, which is Hester Prynne, is portrayed as a symbol of strength and resilience, but her inner world and motivations are not explored in great depth. Similarly, the character of Arthur Dimmesdale, the guilt-ridden minister, is primarily defined by his internal struggle rather than having a fully fleshed out personality. So this lack of complexity in the characters can make it difficult for readers to form deep emotional connections with them. Lastly, while the novel delves into important themes such as the oppressive nature of Puritan society and the consequences of secret sin, it sometimes lacks subtlety in its exploration of these themes. So the symbolism of the Scarlet Letter itself, for example, is heavy-handed, leaving little room for interpretation or nuance. So the moral lessons and social critique can feel didactic at times, diminishing the potential for readers to draw their own conclusions and engage in critical thinking. So that's all my critique. Thank you.